What's up, everyone? It's your boy Cheeba, and you're tuned in to Cheeba's TV. Today, we're diving into a story about none other than the GOAT himself, Jay-Z, brought to you by Chig Smooth. Make sure you hit that like button, follow, and subscribe to keep up with all the latest news. Let's get into it.
Oh man, the apology better be as loud as the disrespect. Now, earlier this week, a lawsuit was filed on Jay-Z, alleging that he raped a 13-year-old girl with Diddy back in 2000. Now, once this news broke, I swear it opened up a portal of hell for all conspiracy theorists to basically come out and say, hey, finally, we got him.
That's a fact. Niggas couldn't wait to smoke his boots. And I say that all the time because, it's like the black community be the first ones to, try to man down their own. So niggas couldn't wait to see that nigga Jay go down. But it's looking like might be something, that story might have some bullshit with it, So let's see what Jay got to say.
You're right, you guys. There's a lot of people out there that want to see famous people go down. Whether actor, rapper, if you're rich and famous, they think you did something strange and shady to get where you are. So obviously when Diddy got locked up earlier this year for his sexual charges, everybody told you guys shit was weird up there. Now let's see who else was involved. They started looking at everybody that's close to Diddy, Kevin Hart, LeBron James, Jay-Z. Shit, even now that LeBron James is missing a couple games for personal reason, people are suggesting and also connecting him to whatever Diddy got going on.
That's crazy. LeBron connected to what Diddy got going on. See what I'm saying? Niggas just be wanting to smoke any nigga that got some money. This shit is crazy.
It's very odd. So people were foaming at the mouth when this lawsuit was brought onto Jay-Z. According to the 13-year-old girl, she went to a VMA's after party at Diddy's spot. Somebody gave her a drink. She found a room to go lay down. Then Jay-Z and Diddy comes inside, and that's where she's claiming the raping happened. Now, 10 minutes after the news broke, we saw Jay-Z fire back with a response, but this Jay-Z response was very interesting.
Hold on, before we get into the response, I said the same thing. I was talking to the homie. I'm like, yo, 13, you was at the VMAs. Yo, bro, I was in the industry for a little while, you know what I mean? Like, you go to them type of events, VMAs and shit like that happening in your city, it's police all over the place in them areas, man. So where this party was at, you know what I mean? Because if it was in like a commercial place, you should be able to, it should be some record of it, like, and who let you in at 13? But anyway, let's get back to it.
Really did not speak too much about the details of the lawsuit. However, Jay-Z attacked the character of the lawyer, Tony Busby. He called out Tony for basically trying to blackmail him behind the scenes, and when Jay-Z refused, that's when Tony added his name to the lawsuit and went public with it. Obviously, you guys know what this lawsuit can do to somebody's reputation and also the people around that person.
What? Y'all see what it could do to somebody's reputation. And for a guy like Jay, that's crazy because soon as something like that come out, companies usually back up off you and leave you on your own and shit, you know what I mean? So you don't know how much money you could have fucked up, deals on the table, all kind of shit, you know what I mean? And that shit is wrong if you just coming out putting that shit on people looking for a fucking cash grab, man. You know what I mean?
Z mentioned in his response that this is something he's now gonna have to address with his daughter. He said, my daughter's friends are at the age where they see stuff about me in the media. They get to asking my daughter, yo, what's this lawsuit with your dad? And then I gotta come in and have this uncomfortable conversation, all because Tony Busby wants money from me. Now, even after Jay-Z's response, a lot of people did not believe he was innocent. People said, hey, well, if we're believing all women, why are we making an exception for Jay-Z?
Hold on. We not believing all women. Niggas gotta stop that shit too. Because that shit is getting niggas jammed up, man. As soon as a fucking female say something foul about a dude, it's like, oh, he did it. Come on, you gotta start looking more into the story, more into the case. Stop taking everything at face value just because they say it, man.
Well, sometimes things are not always black and white. Yesterday, Jay-Z's rape accuser came to NBC News and she actually acknowledges inconsistencies in her allegations, which you guys know is a no-no in court. If you're going to accuse somebody of something like this, you gotta make sure you got your story straight. And very importantly, you also gotta make sure you're telling the truth and the incidents actually happened. Now, some of the mistakes she claimed she made was saying that her dad was actually the one that picked her up from the gas station.
Word, that was bugging me out because if your pops picked you up, y'all ain't go to no hospital, no precinct after that, nothing. And he telling you like this, something like this. You telling him something like this happened to you. He ain't hysterical. He ain't ready to lose his mind, kill Jay-Z, kill Diddy. He ain't ready to go on a rampage for his daughter like most men would. It just don't sound right.
NBC News called up her dad and said, "Hey, brother, do you remember picking her up from this gas station about 20 years ago?" Her pop said, "No, I have no recollection of that." Not only that, but the celebrities that she claimed she spoke with at the party, some of the celebrities are coming out and saying, "Brother, I was not there. I was on tour." And
So the pops don't remember. The celebrities wasn't there that you claim you talked to. This shit is looking real fishy right now, man.
also, details about the actual location of the after party just doesn't seem to be true. She claimed the party happened at a mansion that was owned by Diddy. People got to researching and found out, Diddy did not own a mansion at that time. He was actually living in a townhouse. Shout out to this
That's crazy. It was supposed to be a mansion party owned by Diddy, so it wasn't no commercial building. We know that. It's supposed to be a mansion party, and the mansion was supposed to be owned by Diddy, and Diddy didn't even own a mansion at the time. You see this shit? And this what I be saying, like 120 accusers, and y'all really think everybody telling the truth? Or if people just know he got $1 billion or feel like he got $1 billion and they want some of it.
TikToker Black Girls Who Brunch, she actually broke down some of the inconsistencies from her statements. Here's what she said.
So I am an attorney. One of the areas of law that I have the most experience in is working with SA victims. So I worked on college campuses for the bulk of my career doing investigations into Title IX issues. This often involves SA, harassment, stalking, exploitation, domestic violence, all those different things. I was a neutral investigator for the university, and I had to investigate these cases using the legal standard preponderance of the evidence, which means that it's like 51% chance this is what happened. That is the standard for civil cases. So what we're going to look at as I talk here is not that she lying, they made it up, it's a cash grab. We're going to look at, based off what they put in these court documents in the interview we saw, can they prove by a preponderance of the evidence in court that this happened? Based on what I have seen, I'm going to say no. That does not make her a liar. That doesn't make this a cash grab. It doesn't make any of those things. My whole point here is that they cannot prove in court by a preponderance of the evidence that this happened. Now, in the interview, a couple things that stood out to me. So first off, we were very curious about where this girl lived at the time. So she currently lives in Alabama. At the time of this incident, she lived in Rochester, New York. Now let's keep it.
Rochester. That sound crazy anyway. Because I live in New York. I live in the BX. And, well, I'm from the BX. I currently live in Manhattan. But for you to be coming from Rochester to a VMAs at 13, talking about somebody gave you a ride, that's a long ass ride. You know what I mean? That's a long ass ride. That's about 6 hours from New York City, from the Bronx, Manhattan, any of the 5 boroughs. We talking 6 hours at least.
Mind, they're kind of dropping that off in this article like it's like Katy to Houston proper. That city is 5 hours from New York. 5 hours. So for this to work, I have to understand that somebody was, when she says that, I had a friend give me a ride to the VMAs. Saying giving me a ride to me implies they're going down the street. Driving 5 hours, that's not giving you a ride. That's a road trip. And this person had to drive you 5 hours, which is a whole commitment. Are you paying for the gas, the snacks, and then drive back home? I'm struggling with that. I am. Other thing is, she's from upstate New York, Rochester. I think that's considered upstate. I know people from that area. It is very different than New York City. She's also, as I can tell from the pictures, they've darkened her, but I do not think this is a black woman. So I'm to believe someone from a smaller city. So she's not from like a LA, Chicago, Miami, because a 13-year-old from them kind of cities is going to be able to navigate spaces differently than a 13-year-old from a smaller mid-sized city like Rochester. I'm to believe that a 13-year-old from a smaller city, was able to navigate New York. That just feels weird to me, and it's hard for me to imagine. I would need to have additional context about, well, how often did
Hold on, y'all. We gonna bring that back for a second, because she said some real shit. She said, how is a 13-year-old gonna navigate through New York City? And you never been there before like that. You coming from Rochester, 5 hours away to go to the VMA. Somebody dropped you off, and you just navigating through the city. You not scared. You don't even know where the fuck you at. So the whole story sound like a whole bunch of hogwash to me, man.
upstate New York, Rochester? I think that's considered upstate. I know people from that area. It is very different than New York City. She's also, as I can tell from the pictures, they've darkened her, but I do not think this is a black woman. So I'm to believe someone from a smaller city. So she's not from like a LA, Chicago, Miami, because a 13-year-old from them kind of cities is going to be able to navigate spaces differently than a 13-year-old from a smaller mid-sized city like Rochester. I'm to believe that a 13-year-old from a smaller city was able to navigate New York like that. That just feels weird to me, and it's hard for me to imagine. I would need to have additional context about, well, how often did you go to New York? Have you gone by yourself before? Because I'm just having a hard time visualizing that. As I told you in my other video, this is just me. If I'm a juror, I'm going to have a hard time visualizing how a white 13-year-old was able to move into this space and be, according to her, hold conversations with all these celebrities and not alarm anybody.
Yeah, you 13 years old, you up in the VMAs holding conversations with celebrities, and ain't nobody talking about who kid is this. It don't sound right. You're not no celebrity, so what are you doing here?
That's odd to me. So according to her, she talked to the twins from Good Charlotte, Nicole Richie, or is it Cameron Diaz's husband, about his tattoos. This is I can't remember if it's Benji, which brother it is. And I talked to him about his tattoos, so he knows I was there. They reached out to Benji. Benji said, well, guess what? We weren't at the VMAs that year. We were on tour in the Midwest. And I believe that's something that there's probably
another motherfucking another one. So that's another lie told. You claim that you was talking to him about the tattoos, and he talking about he was on tour in the Midwest. He wasn't nowhere near New York. You know what I mean? And the accuser, she's some white girl, I believe. So, you know what I mean? This shit just look foul all around the board. You know what I mean?
Really good documents of that, even though it's 20 years ago that you were on tour somewhere else and not at the VMAs. So there goes that part of her story. The other thing that I find to be interesting is the fact that the story is that she's assaulted. A woman celebrity witnesses the assault. They haven't said who that person is. She leaves and runs to a gas station. And I'm like, I need to understand how this works, because I grew up in the suburbs. Yes, you have gas stations, but they're not always super close. So how long did you run? I was curious about that. According to her, she calls her father.
All right. Living in New York, living in Manhattan. If she was at the VMAs at a mansion that Diddy owned, where was this mansion at? Because if it was in Manhattan, you ain't running no gas station on no corner. It is so few gas stations in Manhattan, it's ridiculous, man. I go to the Bronx to gas up my cars because the gas stations is few and far in between in Manhattan. I'm talking about starting from Harlem all the way down to Midtown. You ain't gonna just be running into no gas stations, man. You need gas to get to the gas station if you don't live close to one. You know what I mean? So that don't sound right.
To come get her. And now my question is, where was your father? Because if he's at home in Rochester, that is a 5-hour drive to come get you in the city. What did you do for 5 hours? Were you just hanging out in this gas station?
Furthermore, his father saying he don't even remember picking her up. And that's not no ride that you gonna forget. I don't give a fuck if 30, 40 years go past. You ain't gonna forget that you had to go pick your daughter up 5 hours away in New York City one day, and y'all live in Rochester. 5 and some change. Then they're 6 hours away. Like, come on, man. It don't sound right, man. It don't sound right. And it leads me to start thinking, like, people need to look into all them cases into Diddy, too. Because, like, it might be a bunch of shit just like this. Now, we all know he laid hands on her because the tape is out. But For that incident, that's that incident. You can't look at that and say everything else that these people saying is all the way true. You gotta get a man his day in court. You know what I mean? And from the looks of it, if most of the stories end up being like this, he gonna be doing all right in court. You know what I mean?
That's an interesting, that's to me a big part of the story. So that part of the story is missing. And again, some of us could be missing because of trauma and time. Like I said, I'm not calling her a liar. I'm talking about what can you prove in court. That 5-hour time
You ain't calling her a liar. I'm calling her a liar.
period, I think is odd. Here's a bigger thing though. NBC calls her dad. Hey, do you remember the situation? He says, I don't remember ever picking her up from an incident like that. He's like, I feel like I remember that. I don't remember that. Not having her father be able to corroborate that story, to me, the story is done.
Now, Jay-Z put out a statement yesterday after the girl admitted some mistakes in her statement. He said, today's investigative report proves this attorney Busby filed a false complaint against me in pursuit of money and fame. This incident didn't happen, and yet he filed it in court and doubled down in the press. True justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory.
Okay, JJ trying to get philosophical, but homeboy Busby might have some shit to worry about now because you've been proven to be a cash grabber. You know what I mean? An ambulance chaser now. So now, Jay and them gonna be on his ass to have him disbarred or something, man. You know what I mean? Paul. His lawyers and shit, they gonna be on it to have homeboy disbarred, some type of, he gonna get penalized in some type of way for coming at that man like that and not having his facts together, not having his story straight, not him, but his client not having her story straight. It looks bad, man. It looks really, really bad, man.
Was over before it began. This 1-800 lawyer doesn't realize it yet, but soon. Now, Jay-Z's lawyer also spoke out as well. He said it is stunning that a lawyer would not only file such a serious complaint without proper vetting, but would make things worse by further peddling this false story in the press. We are asking the court to dismiss this frivolous case today and will take up the matter of additional discipline from Mr. Busby and all the lawyers that filed the complaint. Now, Jay-Z started to receive some support from some of his colleagues. Biggs posted the interview the woman had with NBC.
In addition to having autism, the woman says she suffered a head injury. The night of the 2000s VMAs, she says a friend drove her from Rochester, New York to Manhattan, a more than 5-hour drive. Her attorney provided NBC News with the name of the friend who has since died. The woman says she spoke to Combs's limo driver who offered her a ride to an after party.
I stumbled upon Diddy's driver, who told me that I was exactly what Diddy was looking for.
What did you think when he said that to you?
I thought it meant that I was just pretty.
She went to a White House, she says, where she spoke to musicians Benji Madden and his brother.
I'm talking to Benji Madden about his tattoo because, I have about his tattoo that's the Last Supper because I have a religious background, so it was just something to talk about.
In a statement to NBC News, a representative of the Maddens confirmed that they did not attend the 2000 VMAs and that they were on tour in the Midwest at the time.
Crazy. And she autistic and had a head injury, 13 years old, used all the... sounds crazy, man.
At the after party, she says she had a drink that made her feel woozy. Then she says Combs and Carter took turns raping her while a female celebrity watched.
JC comes in and rapes me. He at that point I was fighting, trying to get away from him, and he put his hand over my mouth and told me to stop it, cut the.
After the alleged rape, she says she ran to a gas station where she called her father, who picked her up and drove her home.
Yo, she said, Diddy said, stop and cut the shit. Yo, that don't sound like Diddy. Stop and cut the shit. That sound like some white boy shit. But yo, it just sound crazy though. Word.
We rode home in silence. He didn't ask me what happened. He didn't ask me what I did or where I was.
In an interview with NBC News, her father said he could not verify the claims. Quote, I felt like I would remember that, and I don't. I have a lot going on, but I mean, that's something that would definitely stick in my mind, he said. When we asked the woman about the contradictions in a phone interview on Friday, she said that she stands by her statement.
Big said about that interview, sad that an autistic woman lies like this and lawyer didn't vet this at all. Then accuses Jay-Z of rape. Glad the truth is coming out. Memphis Bleak said niggas really tried the God. Hashtag Marcy don't raise those. Even 50 Cent had to come out and retract some of his jokes. 50 posted this picture saying not guilty. Then he wrote in the comments, man, the bitch lying. Her own daddy wouldn't support the story. Could have ruined the man's life. What the fuck? Busby gotta pay for this shit. Now you know you messed.
Just like I said, they gonna be on him. They gonna be on 50 even saying it. Like, yo, he gotta pay for this. And 50, 50 don't really care about those niggas like that. As far as the public go. You know what I mean? Public, as far as what he showed to the public on his Instagram and shit, he always cutting ass, snapping on dudes. You know what I mean? He don't let them niggas get away with nothing. He be one of the first people to troll them niggas. But 50 saying, yo, Busby gotta get dealt with.
Up when you got 50 actually defending Jay-Z. Now, this leaves Tony Busby in a very awkward spot. He spoke out yesterday after the mistake was made public. He said, yo, guys, look, Jane Doe's case was referred to our firm by another firm who actually vetted it prior to sending it to us. I hope you guys are watching what Tony's trying to do right there. Hey, listen, man, we didn't go seeking this out. Somebody gave it to us, and those people that gave it to us, they vetted her, not us. Now, Tony goes on to say, our client remains fiercely adamant that what she has stated is true to the best of her memory. We always do our best to vet each claim made, just as we did in this case. This has been extremely distressing for her, to the point she has experienced seizures and had to seek medical treatment due to stress.
So she having seizures from telling lies? Because she probably feel like she gonna get busted in the fucking lie. You know what I mean? That's my opinion. That's my opinion. This ain't a fact. And y'all ain't got to take it. You know what I mean? If you disagree, hey, you know what I mean? That's where you stand on that, and I'm standing over here. But I feel like she lying. And, like, come on, you having seizures now? This what he used to try to get some sympathy for a liar? Come on, man.
But what about the stress that you're putting on Jay-Z over these quote-unquote false claims? Interesting, Tony. Listen, man, you guys get in the comments below what do you guys think about these updates.
Word. So, yeah, big shout to Chick Smooth. That was that story on Jay-Z, you know what I mean? It's looking like things is looking up for him, you know what I mean? Jay ain't going to end up in the cell next to Diddy. And, you know, y'all stay locked in with Cheeba's TV, man, for more updates on the latest news. And I got some interviews dropping with some few rappers, some up-and-comings, few legends. Stay locked in, man. Follow Cheeba's TV on YouTube, man. And at Cheeba's on Instagram. Peace.